Solstice greetings to everybody. My name is Ben Bowler from Unity Earth, and I'm so excited to be here right now with an incredible community of people all around the world coming with a shared intention to reflect and connect 10 years on from the historic, seismic, cosmic, extraordinary events of 2012, December 21 and 22, really across the world, represented an unprecedented level of collaboration, cooperation, unity, synergy, and coherence for the global transformational movement for consciousness. And in so many ways, the number of participants in that event really were limitless. And the more time goes on, the more we realize how many people and individuals, groups, platforms, organizations were involved in commemorating, in celebrating, in doing ceremony, in planting seeds around that particular date of 21 and 22 December 2012. And of course, ostensibly it was because the Mayan calendar was ending, which is something that had been known for the decades leading up to 2012. Scholars had identified that the cyclical calendar of the Mayan understanding of time came to an end around that particular date of the northern summer solstice in the year 2012. And for so many, that was a call into co-creativity and into action. So we're going to be sharing stories. Where were you and what was being born in 2012. We're going to be hearing from Steve and Dinan, who together with Barbara Marx Hubbard created Birth 2012, one of the world's first global synchronized event series, which connected events literally all around the planet, even before we had the technology we have today that we're using now in Zoom and other things. So an incredible event. We're really excited to hear from Stephen. We're going to be hearing from Shri and Kira, who are down with the Mayans themselves at that time. We're going to be hearing from Pato, Banton, and Antoinette about the journey we took together in Thailand for the first U-Day festival event, which later evolved into a co-creative platform with the work of many hands like Dr. Kurt Johnson and Deborah Moldo and many others into Unity Earth. There's so much to share. So let's get into it. But the inspiration to do this, one remarkable couple who have been beating the drum for the last few weeks, saying we've got to acknowledge Birth 2012 and what happened 10 years ago. And that, of course, is Bob and Noel. So Bob and Noel, welcome. And so great to have you guys with us. And thank you for the inspiration to do this.
Thank you. Yes, a very special time in our lives, very special time in so many people's lives, as you've mentioned. And Barbara's influence has touched so many directly during her lifetime and since, and one generation or two generations beyond by the seeds that were planted by her, the inspiration that she was for so many of us to be involved. Noel and I'll share our story about how that started for us and what was born in us at that time. We'll share that a little bit later in the evening, because we want to open this up for others to tell their story and just be in acknowledgement of, as John Raymer said earlier, acknowledgement of the mystery, that what was going on at that time for so many of us, what drew us to be where we were at that during those days, during those months and weeks, and to acknowledge our dear Barbara as well as a part of the evening. So this is a very sacred moment for us to be a part of the evening. I thought I'd start with just giving you 3 sentences. You see, if you're watching the gallery view, you see Barbara in spirit there is into our Zoom call tonight, sitting at Sunrise Ranch, the birthday party that we had for her at the world premiere of the American Visionary, the story of Barbara Marx Hubbard documentary in December of 17, always with her joyful energy and smile. And I just want to read the first couple of sentences of one of her books, the 52 Codes, the first code, because I believe that's the energy that all of us can be sitting in tonight as we share around this sacred fire together. She said, she wrote, "The key is to yearn with all the passion of your being for your own evolution. beyond the separate state. You must put this purpose first. This does not mean that there is nothing else in your life or that you become a hermit in isolation from others. No, it means that you keep your attention on the highest frequency of your being, and to whatever degree possible, bring your whole being in harmony with that frequency. The purpose is to be able to live your life in such a way that you both lift yourself and lift others. And I know that's true of everyone that's on this call tonight and everyone on Facebook that's watching us as well. So with that, I would invite Stephen Dinan, the founder of the Shift Network and co-creator of the Birth 2012 movement, to share with us whatever he would like to in his reflections of that time and this time and the moments between. Stephen, great to have you here.
Thank you. Well, thank you all for coming and commemorating this special moment. I feel called, like, the original vision for the Shift Network came in a meditation retreat in 2000, which was also sort of a turning point year that a lot of people had expectations around the whole Y2K thing. I actually sat a meditation retreat shortly thereafter, and I had this vision of this.
We lost your audio there, Stephen. Sorry, it might be a cord. Or,
yeah, somebody muted me, but anyway, so I got this vision of an awakening of the consciousness of the planet through these nodes all over the world, linking together into a larger network. And that was what seeded the original vision for the Shift Network. Didn't know Barbara Marx Hubbard at the time. Took a long time to get that vision off the ground, a couple of iterations, tried one startup, then did a version at the Shift in Action program at the Institute of Noetic Sciences. And so when we finally launched the Shift Network, I got guided that we needed to do with spiritual teachers from every tradition. And Barbara Marx Hubbard was one of those 40 teachers. And I had the strong sense that we should do our first program with her. And that was became the Agents of Conscious Evolution training. And that she was such a catalytic person in terms of, like, being able to call people into their destiny path, into their higher contribution, whatever age they were. She's particularly good at calling people who are kind of in the quote retirement years into a next level of service, a next level of contribution, and really kind of gifting at a new level and kind of regenopause, as she'd like to say. So we did our first program, our first paid program with Barbara, and then we started to cycle these programs of the Agents of Conscious Evolution training, which really synthesized her worldview and was a lot about creating a pattern that works for the whole, so that we find our optimal synergy within a larger whole. And that was great as a growth methodology, but it also became clear that there wanted to be something higher, something that Barbara herself had intuited through mystical experiences. And when we would dialogue at a deep level, she was really clear. She wanted to sort of activate an experience of a collective awakening where we sort of the higher mind of humanity wakes up and unifies in this kind of higher field. And she'd intuited that in her own mystical experiences and seen that in different ways. And so we said, why not do this? Because her birthday was also, December 22nd. So I was like, there's sort of a cosmic synchronicity. It was like, well, if the Mayan calendar, all the hoopla, we both agreed that it was like unlikely the world was going to end on December 21st, 2012. And so why not focus attention on what's the new beginning? What are we birthing rather than what is the chapter that's closing? What do we really want to create? And can this be a birthing moment for humanity? So out of our initial dialogues, she was quite good at just planting seeds and sparking inspiration people. And I was really good at designing and producing things. And so it's like, let's take that and run with it. I think if I had known just what a massive undertaking it was at the beginning, I might have been a little more circumspect about what that entailed, because any level of it, from the training up of people to the activation of a kind of a really amazing transformational event at Agape that then was live cast onto the web. So we were sort of on all the live casting elements, and then trying to synchronize locations around the world into a larger program. And the program was a little bit on the crazy ambitious side in terms of running through more than a 24-hour cycle. So it also meant for me, like, basically pulling an all-nighter, kind of like producing this whole thing. but it was truly an epic experience, and I think it was sort of a forerunner to what Barbara really saw as this awakening of a next level of a more unified consciousness, a planetary consciousness, an activation of our higher mind collectively that kind of blends us together, so we're not at war with each other, that we're operating synergistically. And so much of what she really offered us was a template for how to join genius in a way that adds value to the world, that really sort of sparks innovation, sparks collaboration, and that really helps to get people working together for their own good and as an expression of their soul in the world. And I think that that's the level of consciousness out of which her vision surfaced, and what we were working to catalyze an experience of more globally. And then the folks who had gone through the Agents of Conscious Evolution training, which was a very robust and interactive community, a lot of passion. Noel and Bob are here, and they were just right at the forefront of that. There are many other people on this who are at the forefront of that. And so we had kind of a large group of passionate supporters and activators around the idea. And then I think we had, in the end, something like 44 different sites around the world. And we were trying to really create an arc around the whole world. So we'd sort of have this birthing day for humanity. And then the stage show from Agape, we brought in, more highly visible people like Marianne Williamson and Neil Donald Walsh and Michael Beckwith himself and Lisa Nichols. There was a lot of great talent, Banafshe Sayad, Oscar Miro Quesada. We basically sort of created a program that was more in depth about this birthing, that could be sort of help to synthesize the whole, while there's all of the other events happening from Byron Bay to the pyramids of Giza that different groups were activating, but that this kind of became a kind of a progenitor of a collective awakening of consciousness. And so it was an epic undertaking. It took me absolutely to my limit of, I think that's the hardest I've ever worked in my life, and probably ever will work again in terms of trying to pull this thing off. And yeah, it was quite an epic experience for, I think, all of us who are really dedicated to it and who experienced this kind of sense of a real, coming together of a consciousness of humanity and a brighter future where we could really operate out of synergy and mutual respect and the super sex, as Barbara liked to say, is like joining your genius, not just your genes, but joining your genius in a more ecstatic, joyful way to co-create something beautiful and new. I don't know how long I'm supposed to talk, but that's kind of just a riff off the top of my head.
Thank you so much. No, thank you for presenting a little bit of the background and the inspiration and the creative process that led up to the event and the moment itself. And there's quite a number of people that are saying in the chat as well, like, the so-called end of the Mayan calendar may well be very much a simplification of the scientific or the scholarly understanding of what was going on there. But nevertheless, it provided that catalyst or that inspiration or that flex point around for which us to come together and to unite. So just tell us a little bit, Stephen, about Birth 2012. How many events did you guys actually connect right around the world that you're aware of? Obviously, and that was just a fraction of what was actually happening around the planet 10 years ago this day. But how many events are you aware of that you were able to connect with?
I think there were 45 that were bigger events. So these weren't just like living room circles, but they were like you had in Thailand, and there some of different branding. The Unify had did some as well in Italy. So it was more like we were linking together in this shared intention, and different events had their own theme. And then there was like kind of an uncounted number of smaller circles. And that was more difficult to track, but we knew people were gathering in kind of more small living room style or yoga studio style. There was probably, I don't know, maybe 1,000 of those in different places. It was hard to tell exactly, because we didn't have it all kind of like dialed in exactly, but it was more like we knew that there was a certain amount of, and all of the 45, maybe not all the 45, but a fair number of those we were trying to integrate into a live cast. There was definitely some things that dropped out and didn't get broadcast, but we were trying to kind of basically have a TV feed that went from site to site and showcased what was happening in different locations and carried some of UDay and carried some of this Unified stuff. And so there was that was probably the most ambitious part of it, because we didn't have a whole big budget, so we had a lot of very noble-minded folks, and trying to stitch together a global broadcast involving 44 or 45 different sites was a bit of a logistical challenge. But I think we definitely got some good inspiration out the door, and and really linked a lot of beautiful work together.
Yeah, magnificent, Stephen. And I think, one of the things that was really powerful, the message coming through, and it's in the name of the kind of meta event that you and Barbara convened. But those of us who were sort of working to do something positive at that time, it wasn't a sense of something ending. It was very much a sense of something beginning. And so birth 2012, new era, a new epoch, a new segment of human history was being born. And that really was, I think, what was calling so many of us together to come around that. Thank you, Steve, for being with us. Is there anything else you want to share before we move on? We're going to go to Pato, Banton, and Antoinette, who are with us in Uday in Thailand. I'll tell a little bit about that, but looking forward to Pato and Antoinette share. Anything, Stephen, in closing from you?
No, I just deep out gratitude to everybody for your part. I assume most people here probably had some role in the events of that day, and that I think keep the faith, because sometimes it's sort of like we get highly expectant around a particular date or time, like shifting the world fundamentally. And I think that we are on this broad birthing trajectory. It's hard to kind of like crystallize one moment in time for the collective, but I think when we do that in our individual way, so we have a big coming together moment. And I know, Ben, you've been doing a lot of great work to synthesize the works that are going on this International Day of Peace, which is also a really significant day, not just for peace, but also marking the equinox, which reconnects us with the earth. So these moments of coming together collectively in meditation and ritual or ceremonial, in a way, they're all just helping us build momentum to this larger birthing of a planetary civilization that's more unified, and we can put war and some of the the appalling aspects of humanity in the rearview mirror, so that we can really birth a planet that is sacred and reverent and filled with creative possibilities for all. And I think we're all essentially playing the same game, and just trust that each time we do a collective activation, that it's sort of we're moving things down the field a little further in terms of planting an inspiration in people's hearts and a vision in their minds of what's possible.
Oh, thank you, Stephen. That's actually really profound and very, very important for us to, hold in our consciousness that this is not a moment we're looking back on. This is a process we are still very much in. And thank you for the creativity.
We're only 10 years old after all. I mean, how much? We're not even into our tweens yet.
Watch out with rebellious teenagers. Hey, thank you so much, Stephen Dinan, for being with us. Thank you for all that you do. And for the incredible gift of Birth 2012 across the world. Now, it was my honor and privilege, as Stephen has mentioned, to be in Thailand at the time, and as early as 2010, got the inspiration to do something positive around this. The expectancy of 2012 was huge. And it's a little bit like what Stephen mentioned about 2000 as well. For those of us who are old enough to remember building up to 2000, there's kind of a secular expectancy about what would happen with the millennial bug. But building up to 2012, it was very much a spiritual expectancy. So that was different in tenor and tone. But remembering, we wanted to do something positive. So working with our partners, put together an event called Uday 2012. And it was in Thailand, in Chiang Mai, in the northern part of the country. And it was really the first spiritual festival that we did. Has gone on to become now Uday in Ethiopia and the Holy Land and the emergence of Unity Earth. This was really, in very real ways, the spark that was the beginning of all of that. So, Pato, Banton, if we can bring Pato and Antoinette, Rootsdawtah, up here. This was my first co-creation with you, Pato. You came, asked you to come to Thailand to do this, and you said yes, both of you. We had the Buddhist monks chanting. We had our Sufi friends from Turkey who came. We had interfaith prayers. I'll show you some photos in a moment. But just a great honor, Pato and Antoinette. 10 years on. Can you believe it? By the way, Pato, neither of you look a day older than 10 years ago, so that's amazing. But welcome to this reflection, and looking forward to hearing anything you want to share.
All right. Hi, everyone. It's good to see all of these beautiful faces. Hi, Ben. Something, all I want to say is that it's been a great journey. And the start in Thailand for me was just a taste, I guess, of the potential of what it has all evolved to become now, you know. But me and Antoinette always had faith in you, Ben, even though we started on a rough, raggedy road. We always had faith in you that, you know, that we could do it. Whatever we put our heads to do, we could do it. And if we was going to do it in a small way, we'd do it as good as we can. And if we was going to do it in a big way, we'd do it as big as we can. But I'm going to let Antoinette really take the bull by the horn and give her reflection, because she's always bringing up those days. It's something that's very, very important and precious to her. And also her memory is much better than mine. So I'm going to let Antoinette take it from here.
Well, so like I said, I always love telling this story because Pato and Ben met on a podcast on your Rancher podcast, you know, that was being done online. So they were in 2 different countries at the time when he invited us to Thailand. So when we got to Thailand, there was Ben with his yellow flip-flops picking us up from the airport, and we started this whirlwind journey. And when I say we started this whirlwind journey, it was me and Ben and a few others, you know, there in Thailand. It was just a few people at the time, but we insisted we were going to organize this big major event in Thailand, U Day and Unite, you know, with the monks, you know, Duje, our favorite monk, and the priests and all the other interfaith people that were gathering there together. It was small at the time, but it was very large because we had a lot of people that were coming to that were watching it online. Yeah, that was when we first started coming together in the beginning. Yep. And we was sitting there, and a lot of times Ben had all these ideas, and then Pato was just shoved his head down like, okay, really? And he's like, yeah, we can do this. And I was just right there with Ben. Yes, we could do this. So I don't know, where's your picture of us on the motorbike? Because at the time when we got there, I was like, we need to get out there and do some promotion and stuff. So here's Ben on the moped with his yellow flip-flops, and me on the back of the moped, ripping all over Chiang Mai from bar to bar to bar. We even went and sang karaoke, and we told everybody to come out. We got this big event coming. We're bringing all these people together and all this stuff. I mean, half the stuff we were doing, we were just kind of like making up as we went along, but it just really came together because the amount of people that showed up for the event, it was astounding. It was amazing. There was people from all over the world. It wasn't even just people from Thailand. It was people from all over the world that just kind of heard about it from this word of mouth through this little grassroots kind of presentation. And then that moment, that was when they had asked me to do the call to prayer with them, which I thought was
when the Muslims
right,
asked,
which was really exciting because it's like, who asked women to stand up there with them to do this call of prayer? And I was like, and we're going to show the whole world about this equality and about this whole thing about interfaith that people do not understand and do not know about. So when we did this live stream and we were sitting there just doing our Facebooking, and I was running around capturing all the angles of this prayer circle and listening to all the different things that people had to say, that was my introduction to what interfaith was and what collaboration looked like on a bigger scale, on a global scale, from a small scale, and like what the impact of what we could actually do from there. And from that moment, we said we was going to do U Day every year in a place, in a different city, in a different country, with different people, and we would continue growing and building it. And that was the start of U Day Unite, Thailand.
Yeah, beautiful. And then it's like with the audience let off these beautiful candles, Pato. Remember that? So
yes, that was very, very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. And then from there, we went to onegod.com. Is that okay to talk about that, Ben?
Sure. Go for it.
Yeah, from U Day, we went to onegod.com. I think the prayer circle that we had at U Day with the Muslims, Christians, Buddhists, Rastas, Baha'i, you know,
Urantians.
Urantians. It was such an amazing experience to hold hands with people of so many diverse thoughts, you know, and faiths, but all of us coming together, recognizing that we're all spiritually connected to the one, you know. And we launched out from there with onegod.com, and we went to the Parliament of the World's Religions in Salt Lake City. Is that right, Ben?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And what was amazing for me about that, I'm sure there's so much I could say, but what touched me the most about being at the Parliament of World's Religions was we walked around to all of the different booths, and all of the booths had a different faith that they were representing, that they were promoting. But when we got to the onegod.com booth, it was a booth that was celebrating everybody there. We didn't have
the happening booth. This was the party booth.
Antoinette turned it into the party booth, pumping the music louder than everybody else. But what was striking is that everybody from the other booths and all the people that were attending, all the truth seekers that were attending, we were filming them. We would stop them and do a quick interview and ask them, what does one God mean to them? And it was very, very interesting to see that we struck a chord with so many sincere truth seekers that didn't have a particular faith that they belonged to or claimed to belong to, but that recognized that all of the faiths at the Parliament were all related, that we were all one family with just different thought patterns. And for me, that was just beautiful that that Ben really had created this new thing that we could invite everybody to without them having to let go of what they already have. You know, no one was being converted. No one was being asked to leave what they had, but everyone was welcome to join the party and celebrate their beliefs and in the recognition that we're all related to one God. And to me, we even took that to Venice Beach, and the average person on the street totally resonated with what we were promoting and talking about. And it was just a totally unification of thinking and feeling, which was definitely, I think, the catalyst to going towards Unity Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I remember there was a thing because about the word, because remember he changed it so many times. So it was U Day, and then we went to onegod.com. But at the time when we said God, because Pato was sitting there telling me that Buddhists don't say God. And I was like, Dujay said God. I heard him say it because I was standing behind him when he said the word God. And I was running around trying to take pictures from all the angles, from the four corners. Before I even met Phil, I was already taking pictures from the four corners of north, south, east, and west. And I was like, I heard him say God, and I kept saying that. And then later there was like, all right, we're not onegod.com anymore. After we went through the whole thing of going through that.
Oh, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Pato. Thank you, Antoinette. Beautiful to reflect on the journey. I think we could take up a whole program just talking about our adventures together, from Thailand to the US to Ethiopia to the Holy Land. Oh my goodness. But I think really what it says to me, it's a little bit like what Stephen said before, that we're in a process. It's not just a moment. It's an ongoing, unfolding, endless, ceaseless process of learning and discovery and becoming. And what a joy and what an honor it is to have that journey of friendship with both of you on this way. Much love. Thank you for being with us and reflecting on 10 years ago and some of the things which have taken place since then. Love you dearly. And we all love you so much, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Dan.
Let's quick plug for the LA Convergence, March 28th, Pato and Antoinette and the band. And I believe Kristen's going to be there and all sorts of other amazing people. So get to LA on the 28th of March at Wisdom. Make sure, because the journey continues. Now we're going to go down to South America and this incredible couple that have been doing such extraordinary work of transformation over many years. When I spoke to Shri and Kira a few days ago about where they were in December 2012, and it's an amazing, remarkable story. Of course, if you know this couple, you know that they're going to have a remarkable, amazing cosmic story to share about their journey from 10 years ago. So Shri and Kira, thank you for being with us. Welcome. and tell us where were you and what was being born 10 years ago today.
Wow. Well, thank you for asking. And, we're sitting here in Ecuador in an actual Mayan ceremonial site because this is where we were. We were with this exact site at our property in Guatemala at Lake Atitlan with these 4 naguales that had been 4 days of ceremony to bring forward and call into conscious awareness so that they could travel the world. So it was a profound moment. We had been living with the Highland Maya for 2 years already. We wound up living with them for 3 more years after that full time. And it was a deep moment of revelation, reflection. I brought with me, I thought I'd share with you this beautiful, this is a headpiece from the women of San Antonio Palopo. And on that day, they would bind my hair and do all these beautiful things. And our birds have been singing, and many of our taitas would offer us relics like this one from Chichi Castanango.
Let's get it closer.
And I don't know if we can see that, and several different forms of white jade and green jade. And these were all gifted to us then on that day. And it was really an extraordinary moment. We were living with the Ketchikel, and the Ketchikel have a group of elders that are kept very, very, very private. Because if you're familiar with Guatemala, you know that it can be a death sentence if you are publicly known who you are. And so they would always be very humbly dressed, and we would always agree to never take any photos. Nothing was about publicity, but they would tell their stories. And so 10 years ago, we were having the blessing of beginning a journey that wove us to Ecuador all these years later via Uruguay and other countries in South America. So it was an extraordinary moment of unification. That was what all the prayers were about, was calling forward the unified field.
One of the things that comes forward in me right now, and Ben, thank you for gathering us together to honor what has come before and perhaps to capture anew the inspiration that leads us forward. And I'm remembering sitting with an elder at the time, just before December 21, and I asked, well, really, what is going to happen? What is evolving in human consciousness? And this elder took a breath and said to me, we are transitioning from people of corn to people of honey.
So just take a breath on that, because we wrote about that in our book, 2013 Mayan Sunrise, extensively, because this was information that was held by the light keepers of the Ketchikel. And as we were blessed to learn more and more of the Ketchikel language and live with these people, what they were saying was that humanity is at a moment, and that 2012 was only the reemergence, the moment where consciousness had an opportunity to expand beyond that where it has been before, where conscious awareness could come forward.
And to me, the simple metaphor, people of corn, which mice has been the fundamental support for the physical, to transition from people of corn to people of honey is to say we are moving to essence. We are moving to purity. We are moving to simplicity. Oh, there's the book.
There's our book. Thank you. I cannot see any of you, but thank you. And the reason we're sharing this is because that was the day that they wrote about us into the Book of Days. And we have, we had a very humble experience. We chose not to be public. We chose not we would sit and cry in circles as they would offload their wisdom to us. And they felt very unrepresented in their voice. And they felt very hitchhiked in their voice. And this was the Ketchikel Maya in Guatemala, who I got lice with these people. I mean, we lived with these people. And so today I think about their shacks. I think about the fact of all the blessings that global Minga, 10 years ago, it was right around that time, and forgive me, because it's hard to talk about that. We had a great hurricane at Lake Atitlan. And in 1 hour, we lost 22 people that we loved with all of our heart when a landslide ripped through a school and destroyed a village. And it was Minga that brought everybody back. Our boat became the only lifeboat in a lake that was cut off from civilization. And my husband was able to design water systems, and we were able to prevent cholera outbreaks. That's what living with the Maya taught us. It was our first moment of Minga. I would wash my clothes down on the river and down on the lakes with these women, because they needed the understanding that they had options. Consciousness was born on this day 10 years ago. It's no accident that we're here now. And Ben, I bow before you. And I also want to share with all of you that Shri and I, we also bow before Barbara. We were blessed to know her as well. We had a blessed relationship with her going back years ago to Gold Lake and beyond. And so we just are so honored in our very small moment. She appeared with us in one of our early 2012 gatherings. And so thank you. Thank you for the full circle. And what else would you like to share, Shri? Because it's really about the feeling. And that's why we came to you from our Mayan ceremonial site this evening.
Well, we're, because of the sun's going down, we're outside. You're not going to be able to see
As
the
much as we
walls. The thing I really want to share with this community is I appreciate and I really
So
respect
much.
the commitment that each of you represents. The fact
Yeah.
that you showed up here is a commitment to consciousness. It's a commitment to community.
It's affirmation for the planet.
And I remember talking to an elder, actually it was about a year before the equinox or the solstice event. And I said, is it December 21? Is that the day? And this man, this big toothless smile.
They were always toothless.
he said to me, I don't know. He said, the calendar is a mechanistic representation of cycles. However, you will know the day when you arrive there.
And then they would laugh.
And he said,
They would just laugh.
it's our consciousness that co-creates the emergence. It's not a mechanical bang, there it is. And yet, the mechanical piece conspires to awaken the consciousness piece.
And that's where we are now, is it not?
And
The
we're
convergence.
still awakening, are we not?
Exactly. Those two have come together. It's the moment. So you can see we're passionate, Ben. Thank you.
Oh, love it.
So,
Love it. Go ahead, Shri.
no. I was just putting my hands together to bow before you, Ben, and all of us to say, we are co-creating the new earth. We are co-creating the consciousness of the humanity that will carry us all forward. And let's breathe in and trust our capacity to be the genius, to be the expanded love. And let's do this.
Yeah, let's just breathe in the affirmation of this potentiality into manifest form through our co-creative action right now. This is already done. We're just having the blessing of seeing each other now. We love you so much.
We love you.
We're so grateful.
Thank you, Shri and Kira, for blessing us and coming with your presence from Ecuador and from the sacred lands, also connected to where you were 10 years ago, and blessing us in this ongoing eternal moment. Thank you. We are going to hear now from one of the great weavers and commentators and connectors and conveners of our time, Dr. Kurt Johnson. I couldn't not bring you up here, Kurt, just to give your reflections on this particular now moment inside the eternal flow of the endless becoming that is our story collectively. Where were you in 2012, Kurt? I actually don't know what you were up to this time 10 years ago, but I'd love to hear, and anything else you want to share.
Well, absolutely. In 2012, what was becoming the inner spiritual movement after the passing of Wayne Teasdale and the work we were doing with Father Thomas Keating and the Dalai Lama, this was all, growing. And that led to you and I meeting. So what I want to do is echo what Shri and Kira said about the cycles continuing, and just reframe a little bit of what the cycles have been, and then give you all a taste of what's coming this spring, because what's coming this spring is heart-boggling and mind-boggling. So what's interesting is, after, when I first met Ben, which was in Atlanta, so probably got to be over 6-7 years ago now, and that was when OneGod.com was the brand there. And we joined into that with the interfaith movement. And of course, it then evolved into Unity Earth. And in that journey from OneGod.com to Unity Earth, and then now even including the Unity and Peace Synergy Circle of the Evolutionary Leaders, when Ben then became a member of the Evolutionary Leaders, was actually the birth of the Convergence brand for all of these events, the Convergence radio series that we created on Voice America, and the Convergence e-magazine and the Light on Light e-magazines, which have now then become the Light on Light Press. So what's interesting is that that entire history is still there. If you go to onegod.com, entire history is still there with the Voice America series, the publications. If you go then to Unity.Earth, then you see it was picked up by Unity.Earth. All those magazines are there, all those programs are there, and the Toronto Convergence, the New York Convergence, the Holy Land Convergence, and all the incredible events that Ben and you all did all around the world. So what's happening now is this is exploding into 2023 and the cycle's continuing. What's going to happen this spring is that, first of all, I think you know the evolutionary leaders have this Igniting the Holo Movement event in Sedona in March, and Light on Light will be publishing the book on the Holo Movement for that, which is a who's who of thought leaders and visionaries about where this emergence is going, because the Holo Movement is a global phenomenon. It's not just one brand. And so that happens in March, and immediately after that, within a day, Ben and all his cohorts host the LA Convergence in Los Angeles. So that's going to be exciting. In February, just before that, Irvin Laszlo, who's also, of course, a part of the evolutionary leaders and 3-time nominee for the Nobel Peace Prize, he announces his Upshift movement in February, and we publish his book on the Upshift movement then in April, which will be the month after we publish the book on the Holo movement. And again, that's a who's who of thought leaders and visionaries about what the Upshift means. It actually means the upshift into the unfolding Holo movement of the one global family. And so then that unfolds in April. And then following on that, we published Steve Farrell's book in May on his Changing the Future of Humanity initiative. So if you've been following Humanity's team, and of course, we've done so much with them on and still do. Even yesterday, we were doing something with him. We have his book also, which is his autobiography and his launching of the Changing the Future of Humanity initiative. So that's banging the drum, boom, 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 March, April, May. There's going to be, so much momentum from so many, and these are just 3, not to even mention Shift and Emerge and Unify and everybody else who's banging these drums. So it's going to be exciting. And just to reframe what Sri and Kira said and what Ben said, this follows on all the cycles that got launched with what Pato and Antoinette were reframing when they just first started all this work with Ben. And it was a who knows what, but let's do it anyway. So it's exciting. So thanks for the, the moment to reframe all that.
Oh, Kurt, thank you so much. It's breathtaking, isn't it? The panorama. It's just breathtaking. I mean, and the price of entry is yes, and that's what it is. That's what it is. It's just yes. And thank you, Kurt, for your limitless yes to all of this and all the people that you touch and inspire and mentor, and you do it with such grace and good humor along the way. Can't wait for next year. I mean, we're already starting to feel into next year. There's some super amazing, empowered, incredible, exciting things that are taking place and unfolding. I want to bring Adil up here. I know Chief Phil Lane is with us as well. And we want to hear an incredible story from Uncle Phil about where he was. We might bring Phil and John Raymer up together in a minute, but let's welcome Adil Kassam from Unify up here, because if we can hear, we were just celebrating the amazing birth of Unify from 2012, 10 years ago. And here he is, my brother, the amazing man, just a good recipient of an award. We got to see the Visionaries Award, which is amazing and well-deserved, brother. But 10 years ago, Unify really was born out of a collective vision, Adil, of you and the other founding council members, and the first global synchronized meditation you did on this day 10 years ago. When we learned that, both of our real calls to mission got initiated and ignited on this day 10 years ago with so many others around the world, it was an incredible aha moment. So thank you for being with us. And we want to hear, your reflections 10 years on. What was being born for you 10 years ago, Adil Kassam?
Okay. First off, honored to be here with you. And in this moment, it feels like such a, if that was the birthing and there was a gestation or it feels like that was sort of the seed that was planted. I think many of us thought, oh, there's going to be some major shift on that day, on December 21st. And like, you know, many people predicted, and there have been movies been done about it, it's the end of the world. But for those of us that know that time is a spiral, it was the birth of we felt the birth of the Aquarian age, the birth of this next cycle. And now to be here with you 10 years later and just to recount and feel all that each of you has participated and contributed to, you know, we're really born out of that ethos. Even before that moment, I mean, I think many of us, you know, incarnated here for this specific dharma. And it's, I mean, maybe I wonder if you guys have this experience when people ask you, like, so what do you do for a living? You know, like you're like, media and technology contributing to unity consciousness or something, these massive global synchronized events. And it's very difficult to describe, but it's so deeply in our DNA that, you know, oftentimes we can't put word to the great mystery the way, you know, like that, you know, it's not so easy to describe, but it's so in our hearts. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for your profound contributions to this movement. Like, where would we be together without, you know, a group of souls on the planet just holding that space for everybody to unite, and whether it's like unite through compassion in the compassion games, or the expression of unity earth, or, you know, like synergy and conversion circles, or coherence, they're actually synonyms for the same unification, right? Like it's you know, and even the word interfaith or interspiritual, meaning that though we're sovereign and distinct and unique, that there's together we're you know, part of this profound tapestry of light and beauty and virtue that's inclusive of all nations, all traditions, all religions. And I have such a deep faith in that. And so I think that the seed of that was, you know, one could say that it was planted in, you know, harmonic convergence or harmonic concordance, or there were many different sort of birth pangs to it. But December 21st, 2012, it was, you know, at least the 2 months leading up to it felt like every moment was orchestrated, like you're being moved by spirit. What do we do next? And how do we show up? You're going to build this video, you're going to build this website, call these people. And we were more responding than creating in a certain way, responding to the events that are happening in Chichen Itza or Palenque and Tikal, and seeing the picture sort of resolve. Like, I don't know if you know, when we take those whatever, like old school Kodak photos, we're just shaking it to be like, come on, resolve, show us what it is that's going to be happening, so we can do it and contribute to it. We knew it had something to do with the internet. We knew it had to do with unifying the human race. We knew that it had something to do with the sacred sites on the planet. We knew that there were events happening at those sacred sites. We knew we had to send film crews there, that other people like Steve Dinan and Barbara Marx Hubbard were hosting the TV show. And that, and we all were, like, if you think of it like Alexander Marconi and, you know, Alexander Graham Bell and or Joseph Marconi, who got the vision or the download for the radio at the same time, we were all getting the download for the grand unification in different ways. And when we, as the picture began to resolve, we, you know, as a family that was in the San Francisco region, we just called on every one of our homies. We're like, guys, this is the time that we, you know, we're supposed to do the thing. They're like, what's the thing? We're like, yeah, tell us what the thing is. We're gonna have to figure it out together. Why don't we just spend time in this space together? We'll provide food and water and shelter, and then we just show up for service for the next 2 months and show up for spirit and be present and dedicate ourselves to whatever is required. And so we did that, and with many others on the planet that, you know, on their own time and their own like volition, their own energy and their love, they were creating something devoted to spirit, devoted to this great unification. And you know, I know each one of you, if you really think, as you think back to it, you know exactly where you were on December 21, right? 10 years ago. You think about that, it's like the same sort of thing that happened when, you know, we, you know, humans landed on the moon for the first time. We were all unified in our consciousness, observing the same thing. And there's something quite magical about that, isn't that? Like when there's a shared experience or a shared vision. You have similar experiences to a lesser degree, and maybe like the World Cup, finals, if you're watching that, you imagine feeling all those people experiencing that at the same time. It begins to show us a mental model of the grand celebration that we've been contributing to as a family and will create as a, perhaps in our lifetime, a ritual kind of like at the size of the Olympics or the World Cup. This great celebration of world peace and the unification of the human race. My sense is that's an inevitability, and the seeds of that, maybe in terms of the celebration, were planted on December 21, 2012. But here we are 10 years later, and look at how many different experiences we've continued with and contributed to and been part of. And now we're a family, we're united. And, when two or more are gathered, and never doubt, I don't know, I can't do the quote properly, but never doubt, what is it, Ben? Do you know the one, the small group of people, something? But
never doubt that a small committed group of people can change the world. Indeed, they're the only thing that ever has. Margaret Mead.
Right, and so the great prophets that came before us, the Barbara Marx Hubbards and many other prophets, also pointed to this time when those who love peace must learn to organize effectively as those who love war, must learn to unite, must learn to unify, become coherent, operate in a synarchy. And every one of the traditions, if you really strip away, sort of the cultural trappings, they're all speaking about this time and all speaking of it in a very specific way. And how we become a unified multicellular organism. And isn't it a profound feeling to know that we're part of that? And sometimes we have to keep it to ourselves a little bit, or dole it out to our friends and family as they would feel comfortable to know about it. But it's a profound feeling to be part of something before it's caught fire in the rest of mankind, to know something that is a success and have the ability to actually give thanks for it, knowing it's done in architecture, it's done in spirit already, meaning our hearts share in this gratitude because we know this great unity is an inevitability, right? And I just, from my deepest heart, I thank you for all the works known and unknown, all the time that you've spent contributing to this unified field, for all the service, the selfless service that you've done in sacrifice. Most, Stephen Dinan talked about earlier, he'd never worked so hard in his life. I echo that. I remember feeling the same feeling, like, wow, we are being so motivated by this divine impulse that every one of us is up as late as we can, up as early as we can, and rocking it for the Lord. So even if we don't know what the outcome is, and that's, what a testament to the power of surrender. So thank you for holding this. And Ben, honestly, brother to brother, thank you for creating the conditions where this family can actually experience that inclusive unity at a level that I don't think exists anywhere on the planet. Your ability to unify so many of the organizations and shine the light on so many of the luminaries, and bring us to a place of celebrating this unity amongst us through music and beauty. And I'm just like, it's an honor every time I get to be in this. Feel like it's like this reminder to me of like, oh yeah, we're doing it for this. This is what it's for. This is the thing. Okay, great. So yeah, it's been 10 years, but it feels like a lifetime, and it feels like we're going to probably contribute to this for the rest of our lifetime until peace is a reality for everybody on the planet. And yeah, what a beauty. And thank you so much for that. I give thanks for that, knowing it's done in spirit already.
Beautiful, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you for all of that. This is genuinely a family loving, where we get to, really reflect on all the incredible things that have happened over the last 10 years and look ahead. We're getting so excited about 2023. I know you're going to be there at the Igniting the Hollow Movement event in Sedona, and straight after that to the LA Convergence and all the other things. By the way, Unify, you would have done 100 global synchronized meditations over the last 10 years. Talk about the profound contribution to this movement. So, brother, thank you so much for being with us. We love you dearly. We know you're in a tight spot right now, and the whole community and families behind you and around you, and wanting to support and bless you and hold you up. And thank you for your uncommon generosity of spirit, Adil. That you share, what you created at Unify with the whole global family of this transformational movement, and that empowers and uplifts and energizes and engages all of us so deeply. So thank you, Adil, for your beautiful, beautiful heart and for your God-given yes to all of this.
No, I received that deeply, Ben, and really, on behalf of the whole Unify family, we're like try our best to operate as a community. So sometimes I feel a little bit slightly embarrassed to be like, just appreciate all of it. It's really on behalf of our whole family. Like, thank you for allowing us to be in service with you, to resonate with you, and to, like Dakshi, teach us and model to us what it means. And John Raymer, one of the greatest unifiers I know, to teach and model to us what it means to, be in service and put down our rest our little personalities and our egos and our idiosyncrasies in service to a greater mission. It's an absolute profound honor to be with you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And there's an incredible video there's a number of videos from 2012. People can find them on the Unify Facebook page that really take you into what was created 10 years ago. Absolutely amazing. So thank you, Adil. Let's go to Chief Phil Lane Jr., talk about champions of uniting the human family. Chief Phil has been at it since Adam was a boy, I think the expression is, but
I don't know about that, but a while. It's so wonderful to be here with all the relatives, and I was so touched also on that comment. Jesus said, I think it was Matthew, he said, "Where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, I am there with them." Matthew, not sure what verse, but I think that is true. Whatever spiritual faith we have, because I believe the source of all these incredible spiritual teachers that have come upon Mother Earth and have raised up the spirit, including all of us who are conduits to the degree we can humble ourselves, which is not an easy task. Because we have to be able to truly let go of the past and forgive ourselves, first of all, and forgive, because all that's unfolding, I really truly believe, my beloved relatives, is part of the process of our becoming. We're now, thankfully, right in the heart of the birth canal. Whoa, some of these contractions have been pretty strong, but the ones we have ahead of us yet, they're going to be good ones, in that they're bringing us together. They're bringing us in harmony and oneness. And that's why I was so pleased to see this great support to Toshka Adil when he lost his home. That's the way we have to be. And so great, I look back to 2012, just on January 1, 2012, I was in Bangkok, Thailand, places you love, I know very much. Of course, John and I had been there together. And I, for some reason, got to writing. And I wrote, and I'm going to put it in here because I pulled some excerpts out last night from this, because it's about 40 pages long. I got to writing excerpts from Prophecies, Dynamic Change, and Global Civilization. And so that whole year I was spending primarily with Tata Alejandro from the Mayans in Guatemala. We were finished the film Shift of the Ages, which was the Mayan answer to this idea the world was coming to an end. And so that whole film was about the fact it was just a change of seasons, a change of cycle. And it was a great 2012. I can't wait for 2032 because I really truly believe with all my heart and soul that as we unify our human family, we will end war and begin peace on earth by 2030. That's just the beginning of peace on earth. There's so many other ways that we have to come together, but just think about how we are coming together. So many different ways. And Brother John, it's been such an incredible, let me step back here, just to be with his brother and meet you. Unity Earth has done so much. I can't even, there's no words, to express. And Barbara Marks Hubbard, who I knew as well, had the opportunity to know her on a number of occasions. We had good visits. and Kurt, all good work he's done. All I can say is it goes beyond the world of names or the murmur of syllables and sounds. There's no way to express from my soul and heart, because each of us, every single one of us, is a sovereignty, ancient, imperishable, and everlasting. And our soul, I truly believe this, our soul, and I'm seeing this more and more as I almost catch an 80 here, our soul has no gender, has no ethnicity, has no class. It is a reflection of the oneness of our Creator. And that's who we are, sacred, beloved beings. Brother John, what can I, no words to tell.
Well, you know, Ben, let's add summer if we could.
Yes.
There's something I want to say about that, because she and I had this experience recently when we went to the Woodstock Music Festival site. And when you arrive at the Woodstock Festival site, there's a big sign that says, if you are here, then you were there. If you are here, then you were there. I say that to everybody on this call. Whether you were aware of 2012 at the time that happened, you were there, and we are here.
Yes.
There is no turning back. And good things are happening. Look at this recent COP on biodiversity, this 30 by 30 agreement recognizing the indigenous leadership. The idea to have 30%. Now, I don't know what you can do with the other 70% of the land and the oceans, but at least the goal is to have 30% of the lands and oceans set aside. And recognizing the indigenous leadership at this moment. Brother Phil, that has to be heartwarming. That is so overdue. And to see us as a community respecting the unity and diversity, and how you, Ben, have led that way. Unity Earth is a gift to the world. So, I mean, I'm just so happy to be here and be a part. All the signed members sharing all days. We're right now in the middle of it. We're coming to the end of enlightening our way together, but I don't know that ever really ends. There's so much good. It's a little bit like Jim Garrison says, things are getting worse and worse and better, faster and faster.
Everywhere all at once.
Everywhere all at once. I mean, this is not for me, like you said earlier, Ben, about the past. Whatever got us there has brought us here, and from here we go forward together. So grateful to you, Summer. Oh my God, I wanted you to be a part of this celebration and bring your genius. Yeah.
Summer Joy, what's being born for you and for us right now?
No, can't hear you. And it's just so good to see Shri and Kira and everybody. We need to come together to see that this is all of us. It's bigger than any one of us. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, now we can.
Okay. Oh, it's just so wonderful to be with all of you brothers. And, you know, I just really feel that. Just really want to honor the healthy, beautiful brotherhood going on here behind the scenes. And Adil, that what a phoenix rising among us. You can't even tell that he's just lost his home. I just want to say he's shining like the sun. He's an example of losing everything around. Can you imagine all of you in this room? Suddenly, boom, your house gone. Look at him. He's here to tell the stories of how we're coming together. And, you know, I just really want to honor the brotherhood here, the beautiful, and even Dinan and, you know, Noel and Bob and Shri and Kira. Like I think it's so important that we acknowledge the healthy masculine that is so alive here, behind also the incredible divine feminine that is blooming out of the Zoom room. It just can't even be held anymore. It's just, you know, the wings of all of the birds here, Brother Phil. they are flying out way off beyond the Zoom room and have been all these last many days. And, you know, just really feeling that here. And so grateful. And I just really do love every single one of you. Like, what a journey we've all been on. What a journey.
That's what I just,
love you all.
thank you. That's what I mentioned, this thing to that I'm learning more and more. And that is, we can change the past. We can change it by how we look at it. And we have a ceremony called the Sundance, in which we go 4 days and 4 nights, no food or water, about 100 degrees outside. You go there, but you keep praying, no matter what comes to you, keep praying, just like you have Adil. You keep praying. And sometimes your lips get fat, you can't even, your tongue gets thick. You want water so bad, but you keep praying, you keep praying, you keep praying, you keep praying. But when you leave it, it was 4 days and 4 nights, or 2 days and 2 nights nonstop. This old elder used to like to dance beat catches. When you leave that, you feel so much better. Well, the way I see it, Mitaki Epi, and I say that all my relatives of the human family, we're just stepping out of a 500-year Sundance, a 500-year sweat lodge. We're all stepping out of that, each and every one of us. And I think that it's time, you know, that we just really see that and just fill our hearts full of love, because when there's love and thanksgiving, there's no room for anger, there's no room for revenge, there's no room for these things, there's only room for forgiveness and kindness and love and compassion. That's to be at the heart of things. Let's say that much. And I love you all so much. I'm so thankful for all our ancestors and what they went through to bring us to the state, each and every one. You think I've been really learning about the Irish, Ben, and about what they've gone through. You know, we went and had incredible visits, and I see all these ceremonies these days, and to know those relatives and all the relatives of our human family, everyone. And so here we are, the representatives of all that have gone before us. Whoa, just think of that. All that have gone before us, we're here representing our mother. Aho.
Oh.
Oh.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Uncle Phil. Thank you, Adil. Thank you, Barbara. It's Barbara's birthday here, the 22nd.
Barbara.
Here in Australia.
Feel her.
So this was the inspiration to get together around this particular campfire of consciousness of Bob in particular, and Bob and Noel. And we want to hear your story, your origin story. You guys have got an epic tale to tell about where were you and what was being born 10 years ago, Bob and Noel. Then we're going to have a little award, and then Omashar has promised to give us some music. But we want to hear from also other people in the room, Kristen Hoffman, Dr. Julie Krull, lots of other people here that have tales to tell about where they were 10 years ago. But Bob and Noel, over to you.
Thank you. Wow, this has just been so amazing. And I just want to underscore what John just said about, if you are here, you were there. For all those who never met Barbara, for those who were doing something else in their life on their journey path in December of 2012, you're here, so you were there. I love that, John.
I love that
really
too.
is on target. Our story of connection with her started with Barbara, started when Noel attended a Shift Network Summer of Peace event. She was a teacher.
Let me just tell a little bit about Barbara Marks Hubbard.
Okay.
She stalked me. There's no other way to say it, but she stalked me because she kept showing up in my life. Like, I took the Stephen Dinan Summer of Peace. It's always free. He has wonderful speakers. There was Barbara Marks Hubbard. I went to Agape with Michael Bernard Beckwith, and there was Barbara Marks Hubbard's Humanity Ascending DVDs. And something else that just kept coming, Barbara Marks Hubbard. And I was like, I don't even know who she is. And then I watched her video, Humanity Ascending, and we are living in our RV there. And I watched it, and I went back and Bob didn't see it. I took it back to him. I said, Bob, I finally figured out what I am. And he went, uh-oh, what's that? I said, I'm a conscious evolutionary. And he said, well, what's that? I said, I don't know, watch the DVD. So that started our connection with Barbara, and then we signed up and took the course that Stephen talked about earlier, the Agents for Conscious Evolution. And then, Bob, you want to turn it over to you?
Yeah, fast forward February of 12, Noel was at a conference with Barbara and Stephen. That's when they announced the Birth 2012 movement. And we signed up to be with her for 3 retreats that year. At the first retreat, Julie Krull will remember the question because she was there too. Barbara said, "What's your gift to the shift in humanity?" And we scratched our heads and said, "We're just living in our RV, going with spirit, whatever that is." But soon spirit was very specific and said, "You drive this thing to all 48 states and you show Barbara's Humanity Ascending movie. Even if you don't know how to spell conscious evolution, you can show the movie and let people talk about what they saw, and you will learn." And along that way, we met 2,000 evolutionaries in on their journeys at that time. And from between June of that year and the end of December, we had traveled 35,000 miles, 20,000 in the RV around this country and Canada, and then a little trip with her to Byron Bay in December. To be a part of the Uplift Festival and be a part of all of that happened there. And Stephen and the Shift Network gave a lot of visibility to our journey along the way, which was amazing. And then we were back through the time zones to Agape on the 21st and 22nd of December, 10 years ago.
And I see Ron and Victoria are on this call as well, and they became co-creators with us. And every week, Barbara wanted to have these hubs all around the country. So show the movie, talk about conscious evolution, and invite them to do an event. There's no way to enumerate how many events that were done.
Steve said.
That, like Stephen said. And Ron and Victoria, we used to double date with them, we would say. And we did weekly calls. Mm-hmm. And we would take turns. We rotated each week and invited people to be on the call and tell them more about what was going on and what was being planned for Birth 2012 and how they could get involved. And I don't know if you want to show. We do
the journey since has been also the invitation came from Spirit for us to gather the next year in 2013 at Sunrise Ranch, specifically to celebrate Barbara receiving the Humanities Team's Spiritual Leadership Award. And we'd never organized a retreat before, so we reached out to Ron and Victoria, which have, and a couple of others we had met along the way, and a few of them that are here this evening were a part of that. The first co-creators convergence took place in May of 2013. And the question of what since then has been our personal journey, but the journey of this entire co-creators convergence community, because we have 3,000 people on the Facebook page, we have 250 recordings on our website, including all the ones that were done with Unity Earth and World Unity Week and Peace Week and that sort of thing. So the convergence is not an organization or a membership or a movement. It's a ever-evolving space where we explore this question, Barbara's ageless question: what is your gift to the shift in humanity? And we love being a part of that because we're all supporting one another. As everybody that talked so far this evening and will talk in the remaining time, being able to lift up other people's answer to their question of what is their gift to humanity is a calling, and it's a joy. So.
Yep. So that's what we've been doing for 10 years, having retreats, and then also inviting people to share their gift to the shift. And we have learned so much from that and been able to share and support the work that they do. And I don't know, Bob, do you want to show our little video that we have?
It's a question for time for Ben.
Ben, do we have 2 minutes or we need to roll?
There's so many people who want to share. Why don't we do the award? We've got an award, I think, for Barbara. Let's do the award, and then I know a lot of people want to keep sharing, and then I hope that we can get to play the video a little bit later on. But let's do the award now.
No problem.
We're going to continue this party tomorrow night at the Co-Creators Convergence Facebook website, rather.
Party never ends, Bob. Party never ends. Yes, tomorrow night, Co-Creators Convergence. It rolls on. So there's an award. I think we have. Is it Des?
Yeah, I'm looking for them to highlight them.
Yeah, they're coming in. So let's just mindful of the time, because we do have a lot of people with stories to share, and Omashar's got music, and we're up against the time. But please, Des and Jerry, you have an award. Please go ahead. Go ahead with Jerry, your sound. There you go. We're not hearing from Des and Jerry. There might be a sound issue there, Jerry.
There we go. Try again.
There you are. We hear you.
Yes, now we can hear you.
And now we can't.
Now we can't.
It seems that maybe the mic is not connected with Zoom. And if you go at the bottom of your screen where the mute word is, there's a little arrow. And the microphone is plugged into the laptop, right? That's where I usually start. Make sure that it is. And then go to the little arrow to the right of mute and click up. And then when you go into audio settings, make sure that it's where it says microphone, that it has selected that microphone that you have there as the choice microphone.
Just while you're getting set up there, I know just in the interest of flow, Jerry, I'm going to bring Victoria Friedman up, who wants to share based upon what Bob and Noel were saying, and we'll give you a couple of minutes to get the audio sorted out. So Victoria, jump in and tell us. You look beautiful tonight. Wonderful. What would you like to share, Victoria and Ron?
Okay. Oh my God, there is so much to share. Thank you, Ben. But we just want to say that both of us had a love affair with Barbara Marx Hubbard and Birth 2012. And she came to my home. She was doing a celebration at Wainwright House. And she came to my home and she sat down next to me and she said, "So Victoria, what have you been thinking about the week before I came here?" And I went, "Oh, Barbara, I've been thinking about sheets and pillows and towels and how you're going to sleep in your room." And she laughed and she took my hand and she just held my hand and she said, "Okay, dear, we'll make it our intention to find out what this weekend is about." And that started a great love affair. And she brought out our Vistar method to all her ACE students, and we did trainings with them. And there's just incredible stories. You know, our Vistar method, you know, we studied this and we promoted it and we worked with it for 30 years. And Barbara said, "So I want you to get on the call with the ACE students, and do this in 10 minutes, in 10 minutes, and make sure you're exciting and amazing and wonderful." So Ron and I did not sleep a lot during our time with Barbara. We would just be on the phone with her all the time, and she would come and visit us. And just want to say I'm so excited, and also to be on Bob and Noel's show thing tomorrow, the Co-Creators Convergence, because there's so many incredible background stories. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. One of the things that was wonderful about Barbara, just as a story, at the Association of Global New Thought that took place in Palm Springs, I'll never forget her standing up on stage. She was dressed in a beautiful white dress with sequins, which reflected the light all over. And she read her story, The Cosmic Family Reunion. This was the story, and I hope it once again finds its population to listen to it. The Cosmic Family Reunion was about Eve confronting Jehovah and then bringing together all the saints and sages in a movement towards a universal spirituality. It was magnificent. But the thing that I remember most about it was I was very moved by her reading. And when she got off the stage, the first thing I went up to her and I said, "Barbara, that was really something. It touched me very deeply." She said, "Did it?" And I don't remember what happened next, but in a few minutes, we were waltzing in the car. We were waltzing together in the hallway, in the meeting. We were just waltzing together. It was just such a meeting of significance. Anyway, we have many, many memories and diagrams. So thank you for letting us share it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Good to see you. Thank you, Victoria. You look very fresh after your trip to the Bahamas. So thanks for being with us today and reflecting and remembering. Jerry, how do we go with the microphone there? Nope, still not working. Still not working. So we'll give you a little bit more time to maybe close and restart the computer, or just check your microphone's working. I want to bring Julie Krull up here because Julie, like Bob and Noel and Victoria and Ron, was one of the infinite number of best friends that Barbara seemed to have. But Julie, amazing. It's Barbara's birthday here in Australia, the 22nd of December. We're reflecting on 10 years ago, birth 2012. What a profound moment of really just witnessing something extraordinary that's happening out of time and in time that we're connected to and a part of. What would you like to share, Julie?
Oh, wow. Well, thanks for inviting me in. Well, you know, I'll share just a story because I couldn't stop smiling when Bob and Noel were talking, and then Ron and Victoria, and just remembering those days. And I was stalked by Barbara too. So Noel, you share that story. I just have to share. Noel and I share a birthday too. So now we share a stalking story because we were doing construction on our house. And there was this pile of CDs and evidently 2 DVDs in this corner in my bedroom that I'd walked around forever, just walking around it. And one day I walked by it and a DVD fell off and hit my leg. And I just picked it back up and put it on the pile and kept going about my day. And again, an hour or so later, walked by it and the DVD fell off and hit my leg. And there were 2 DVDs. And I looked at them and what are they? And they were wrapped in cellophane. They were Barbara Marx Hubbard's DVDs. I had no idea who she was. I had no idea where these DVDs came from. I did not purchase them. And my husband wouldn't have purchased them. I don't remember where they came from, but there they were. And so I unwrapped it and watched. And that first day, in the Ascension video, Barbara shared a vision that she had that I had when I was 11 years old. It was exactly the same. And as she was describing it, it was just like unreal. So anyway, I, like Bob and Noel, went through the Mentors of Conscious Evolution in 2012. I'd worked with her earlier, and then the Mentors of Conscious Evolution were called What's Your Gift to the Shift? And literally, What's Your Gift to Birth 2012? And so we all got together and shared a beautiful year together and retreats in person. And then how are you going to help with the Birth 2012 event? And Bob and Noel were amazing. They were incredible and still are. It's amazing to see the work and the people and the network and the weaving. And what I was doing that day, when you ask, what were you doing? Do you remember what you were doing? And I literally, in that early day, when Facebook was still organic reach and not pay to play, I just got Facebook real multidimensionally. And so they asked, will you kind of do some social media magic for us? And I worked with all those big names, media and publicity personnel. So from Marianne Williamson and Neil Donald Walsh and Michael Beckwith and everyone that was at that Birth 2012 event, I was literally on Facebook taking the videos, doing like what John Raymer does now, but doing it manually. Instead of just saying, yep, let's share in all these pages. I was going behind the scenes. I was administrator on all of these pages, and I was literally weaving all of these things throughout the day and in Byron Bay and everywhere, and putting out the very first sign network on the Birth 2012, 10 years ago. It's amazing. And literally with you talking about what's been born from that time, Good of the Whole was literally conceived December 2nd, 2012, in our very last retreat, our live in-person retreat with Barbara that day. She came up to me and said, help me create the evolutionary core, CORPS, much like the Peace Corps. She wanted the evolutionary core. And that began a journey that evolved in 2013 to Good of the Whole being born as well during that time. So it was quite the quite the journey, and I'm just so delighted and joyful to share this and to just really talk about this magic that's really important. And the birth 2012, this is what I saw today. I think is so important to say, Ben. The birth 2012 was inviting many of us into a chrysalis stage. I know Barbara was heartbroken when something magical didn't happen the next day when she woke up. She was heartbroken. And when she worked on her DVD in the last year, she was like, I failed. Where was it? What was it? Well, she saw it, and she didn't fail in the vision of it. She ignited and catalyzed so many people. But birth 2012 ushered many of us into the chrysalis. And 2022 has been a really big year for all of us. I know if people start saying in the chat, 2022 is a big year for all of us, letting go and clearing out. And it's as if the first harvest of butterflies among us are coming out in 2023. It's going to be big. It's going to be beautiful. We're getting our wings. We're breaking out of the chrysalis. I'm seeing it more and more with people I'm working with all the time. We're feeling it now, and that chrysalis is breaking open. So here comes that first harvest in 2023, Ben, and thanks for what you do to really nurture this unity movement.
Oh, thank you, Julie. Thank you. Thank you for that beautiful window into, this connected reality. It's amazing, isn't it? Because it was one event in essence. It was one moment in time. We were all there in different ways, and yet we all have our own unique perspectives on it. We're connected to the same thing, but with our own stories and our own content around it. It's just stunningly beautiful and divine. Let's test Jerry and Des. Jerry and Des, we're up against it with time, so we're going to have to be quick, but let's test that microphone of yours.
Can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you, Jerry. Yes, thank you.
So really quickly here, it's an honor and privilege to be in such a group. And just to honor Barbara Marx Hubbard, whose work we've been following for a very long time. Barbara is getting a very special award as Heroine of Humanity. And this is the only award we can give posthumously, and we do it very judiciously because their work continues. So this is just a perfect example, as you people all talk about what you're going to do in the future, of Barbara's work continuing. So it's a great honor to present her with this award. She will be on our platform, and it's a perfect example. It's working together. And so I wanted to share with this audience what I did before with just a couple of words that I want to put in our dictionary now. The first one is the word collaboratory. And what this means is we are looking for all over the world, now in 62 countries, with the people who are doing magnificent work as individuals, as networks, or organizations, and bring them onto the team to wage peace. And here's the key idea about waging peace. You need to be specific, strategic, bold, courageous, as much as if you were focused like you were waging war. And so now here we have a group of you, brothers and sisters all, who are waging war. And the key issue about the collaboratory, you are waging peace. They, people, are waging war. What power you have, your own natural resource. And we have Barbara with us, whose picture seems to be pulsing all the time. The Visionaries is building a collaboratory, a worldwide collaboratory of individuals who share mind and heart about taking this moment, this beginning, to do something extraordinary.
I'm going to come in, Jerry. We'll let you roll for a fair bit there, but the audio's kind of distorted in a way that makes it a little bit hard to follow. But so we're going to ask you to accelerate this a little bit, if you could, please.
Can you hear me now?
You sound like Porky Pig from Looney Tunes, but we can hear you. Yes.
Great. Well, that sounds very good.
You're still in.
I think we just need to show the award. I'm sorry, guys. We're happy to share what Visionaries is up to, but I think now is probably not the time. Let's just do the award because we've got, unfortunately, we're out of time. And there's a few more sharings to get to. Thank you, Bob and Noel, who are bringing the award up. There is a major issue with your microphone, Des and Jerry. So we will, it doesn't seem to be screen sharing there. Want to try again, Bob and Noel? Maybe Barbara is just not in the frame of mind to receive awards in this particular moment, but let's post it. We'll share it out through our Facebook page, and we'll post this award everywhere we can. It's the Visionaries Award given posthumously to Barbara Marx Hubbard. And Des and Jerry are up to some beautiful work, and look forward to sharing that. By the way, let's take a moment. This is a call that happens every week. This is the Unity Earth weekly call every Wednesday. It's been happening for 5 years now, every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So if we don't get a chance to share it today, Des and Jerry, you're welcome back anytime to complete the sharing. So in the spirit of rolling with it, we're going to continue to roll with it. Because I know there are some people here who really want to take a moment to share while we're gathered. I'm sorry, but it looks like the technology just wasn't going to work for you today. Bob and Noel, you've got the award there. Do you want to read it out just so Des and Jerry, the intention to honor Bob and to honor Barbara is fulfilled? You want to read it out for us, please?
Sure. Let me I don't know why it's not sharing. I'm doing a new share and it's still not letting it show, but let's go ahead with this. Okay. So the Visionaries International Network celebrates the outstanding contribution of Barbara Marx Hubbard with a Lifetime Achievement Award as a heroine of humanity. There are very few truly extraordinary people who are born to devote their lives to the service of humanity. Across the world, they face the challenge and opportunities of their time to uplift everyone whose lives they touch. These are the heroes and heroines of humanity whose contributions to advancing the human project on Earth we wish to acknowledge, celebrate, and preserve as inspiration and guidance for the best we can be. This award recognizes and honors the exemplary and heroic contribution to the ongoing and positive development of a peaceful, sustainable, enriched, and just quality of life for humanity. Such heroes and heroines of humanity. Okay, it went away. Just wanted to finish that last sentence. Such heroes and heroines of humanity are the best expression of human nobility, whose courage to persevere lights the way for others to follow. This award is a testament to their magnificent achievement. Signed, Geraldine Schwartz, PhD, co-founder, and Desmond Berghofer, PhD, co-founder.
Beautiful. Perhaps Des and Jerry, do you have a copy of the award there you can hold up, and we'll get it spotlight? You have. Let me just 1 second. Hang in there. Let's get this. There it is. Held up for Barbara. The Visionaries International Network, Barbara Marx Hubbard, Lifetime Achievement Award, Heroine of Humanity. Thank you, Des, and thank you, Jerry. Congratulations to Barbara, and appreciate that. Beautiful. Thank you, Noel, for reading that through. All right, friends, we do have a musical offering that's very, very close to coming up. So we only have a few minutes left to share. I want to bring Kristen Hoffman forward just to hear your story, Kristen. Love to hear where you were in 2012 and what was being born. Oh my goodness, I'd love to hear from all of you. I'd love to hear from you, Janice Hall and Janice Coyle and Connie and Christy. I know that there's amazing stories to be shared here. Harry, I bet you've got a great story. Peter Young from Hubcast. Brother, it's great to have you here with us. I bet you've got an amazing story about 2012 as well. So many stories here to share. But sister Kristen, great to have you with us, and thanks for being.
Oh, it's so wonderful to be here and just feeling the deep love and presence of this gathering today on the solstice. And it's amazing. I hadn't really thought back on that 10-year journey until showing up today and realizing that 10 years ago today, I was actually joining Kurt and Ron and Victoria for the Birth 2012 celebration at the Wainwright House. And I played music that night, and it was such an incredible gathering. And I feel like it was the first moment where I entered this extended family. I had just met Kurt. I was playing with Kenji Williams, a small version of Bella Gaia at the Temple of Understanding event just about a week before that. And Kurt and I became instantaneous soul friends, and we kept in touch. And he called up about a week later saying, "You have to play at Birth 2012. And I felt that it was meant to happen, and I said yes, and I showed up, and it was one of the most incredible evenings of soul and togetherness. And from that point onward, I've started weaving with Kurt and Ron and Victoria, and then I joined the board of Fions, and it all linked to the evolutionary leaders, and then to meeting Ben and being here in this incredible Unity Earth family. So I was just realizing this evening that this last 10 years, if it wasn't for that invitation from Kurt Johnson to Birth 2012, I may not be here in this circle today. So I'm feeling incredibly grateful. I love you all so much. It's been such a blessing to see old and new friends, Pato, Antoinette, Noel, Bob, Ben, Summer, John, Chief Phil, Adil, so many beautiful souls, Julie. And just as we go deep within in this space of introspection, this light within, this deep day of reflection, may we understand the importance of our presence and all that we're creating here together in the space of love and unity and family and light, so that in this next harvest, in this next season of growing, we will be ever more vibrant and ever more unified in our efforts together to really shine that light of peace into the world. Love you all so much. Thank you, Ben, for having me on for a second.
Oh, what a beautiful sharing. And that's the catalyst of this reflection is going back, Kristen, to those original things that took place, like Kurt inviting you to come and share the music. Is thank goodness he did that, and thank goodness you said yes. And the whole step along the journey, we keep saying yes, and we frank our yes today in this circle, in this community. Thank you, sister, and looking forward to much, 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 much more to come as we go forward. Omashar has been very gracious and very patient. We're going to have a little bit more sharing, just because I know there's so much more here. I bet Teresa Collins, you're doing amazing things 10 years ago. I just know there's more here to share, but with the limited time that we do have, whether it's Peter Young or whether it's anybody who wants to jump in, I just at least want to give this space for 10 minutes for anybody who just feels compelled that they just really want to share for a minute or two about where you were and what was being born. I'm going to open it up. Who would like to jump in? Let people unmute. Yeah, they can unmute themselves.
Ben, I'll just say one thing.
Here is Barbara. Oh, I'm just going to say.
Go ahead, Teresa. Go ahead, Teresa. You just
Sorry.
Yeah, I'll just say one thing. I was on earlier with Adil and the 10-year anniversary, and then being here. First of all, it's just so much fun that we've all been doing this for so long. But one of the things I loved about the stories and really says something about who we are as a community was that They were literally just pulling things together. We were all just pulling things out of thin air to make whatever we were imagining happening. And we're still doing that now. We're still just like we're imagining it, and the resources and the systems are barely keeping up with what it is that we're trying to do. But it's beautiful, and it feels like it's really blossoming into just an abundant garden right now. So blessings, everyone. I love you all.
I love that. I love that, and Teresa, the incredible thing about what happened 10 years ago is the coherence that was there with the limited capacity that we had. And now there's so much more coherence that we collectively can and are bringing to these events and to this process. So thank you for everything you do to lead the way in that field with the Global Coherence Pulse. And on we go and on we roll. This birthing moment is unfolding. I couldn't actually not throw to my mother, whose passion is all about birth. So, Mom, sorry, I can't help but bring you up here on the spot. Birth 2012, who knows where you were, but what would you like to say about this unfolding birthing moment? You never got to meet Barbara. I only ever saw her across a crowded room in Denver, Colorado. But what would you like to say at this moment, Mom?
Well, that I'm overwhelmed that people have such wonderful, clear stories to share. And Ben, of course, I do know you were in Thailand when I got caught up with Until This Day. It was a headline that took my fancy. And yes, I do recall you on those small motorbikes and with flippers or whatever what do we call sneakers, whatever they were. And as for Antoinette and Pato, they've been in my life through you, and certainly in Thailand in all that, because you and I were communicating very well during those times, although I was very unclear about what you're up to most of the time. But I think it's just wonderful to be. I've been on this journey, Ben, with you, through osmosis, and now I'm in a kind of bigger way, having gone to Thailand with you and to Istanbul and Israel. I do feel embedded. I don't have the reflections with Barbara, but I've got a sense of what an extraordinary woman. And if I could just end with one thing, Ben, I put my glasses on. It's a poem that others may have read or know of. And it's about the dash, D-A-S-H. And the dash is the dash between the dates. And it's the dash between the dates that tell us the story of our lives and what we have achieved and what we try to achieve. And it was quite had an effect on me about how important that dash is, about what we have done with our lives. And here we are in a collective way doing what we are trying to do for the good of the world. I won't read it, Ben. It takes too long, but it's cool. Do you want me to just do a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Let's do a little bit. We'll close this sharing with your poem, Mum. And if people are wondering, the dash is between your birth date and your death date, right? There's a dash between. So we'll close the circle with this, and please stay with us for Music of the Divine Heart with Omashar. We're going to celebrate. We're going to connect through music. We're going to have Omashar's amazing gifts to round out this beautiful gathering. Thank you, Bob and Noel. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, everybody who's been here to make such a beautiful sharing. I know we could go on for hours more, but Mum, let's close with a section of the poem Dash Between the Dates. And it is Barbara's birthday, so this is appropriate.
This is for Barbara. The Dash by Linda Ellis, and she wrote this in 1996. I read of a man who stood to speak at a funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted the first date came of the birth and spoke the following dates with tears. But he said what mattered most of all was the dash between the years. For that dash represents all the time that they have spent alive on earth. And now only those who love them know what that little dash is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that can still be rearranged. If we could just slow down enough to consider what is true and real, and always try to understand the way other people feel, and be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we have never loved before. So if we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remember that this special dash may only last a while. I found that just a so reflective sort of little poem to make us conscious of how important it is to serve, as the word often comes up here frequently. So Ben, thank you for giving me the opportunity of reading that little poem. And happy Christmas to everybody in this next coming week. Where's he gone? Disappeared on me.
No, I'm here. We're just transitioning. We're moving. Thank you, Mum. That was perfect. I didn't want to. It was so perfect. I couldn't, improve on it. So I just want to welcome Omashar, who's going to share music of the Divine Heart. Thank you for being with us this whole time for the
My
share.
pleasure. Happy solstice to everybody, and how lovely to meet your mother, Ben. Holy smoke! It makes me miss my mum in England so much. And there's so much that all of us could share, because Barbara was a part of my awakening as well. And I used to be reading her books a couple of decades ago, and there was one book in particular where with the artwork on the front was an earth spiraling through the stars. And out of that book, I wrote a song called Spiral Through the Stars. What a concept. And so she is very present in my life, on my heart. And so I guess we can just carry on now with some music. A few songs to share with you. Yes, Ben?
Well, I was just going to say, yeah, let's do that. Let's give Bob and Noel the chance just to say a few words to close, and then we're off. We're going to go into the music, which is such an important part of this. So, Bob, Noel, well done. Congratulations. That was beautiful. Anything you want to say as we close this part of it and move into Omashar's sharing?
If you're here, you were there. And thank you. This has been a joyful evening.
We're pretty blown away, Ben, because, it didn't seem like we were getting much support for this idea of having this event. And then, I don't know, Barbara must have just kicked it into gear. But once you kicked it into gear, Ben, thank you, everyone for being a part of this. My heart is so full. I just wish I could hear all these stories. And I said to Bob the other day, a book should be written about what was birthed in 2012 and what has blossomed since then, because so much has been gifted to humanity through the inspiration of Barbara Marx Hubbard and others. But she was so near and dear to us, and we miss her very much. We're very close to her, and she was our neighbor at Sunrise Ranch. And we're so grateful for the time we have with her in person, but she's always with us. So thank you, Ben. Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to see all these faces, and I'm looking forward to Omashar's music. Blessings, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bob. Thank you, Noel. Let me just acknowledge Becky as well, because it was Becky's, kind of thread weaving that connected a lot of this into place. So big love to you, sister. You've been in the background co-hosting and spotlighting and doing everything. Becky, anything you want to say or share before we go to Omashar?
This has just been joy, really joy. And, I was trying to remember where I was then. And my children were 10, 9, and 2, I think, back then. And so I was in the middle of mumming big time, and just so grateful. I mean, I knew who Barbara was and had read some of her things, but just to feel this incredible gathering in this circle, it's been an extraordinary experience, and it feels timeless. She's time traveled, and I think she really was here, monkeying with some things for us tonight, which was really getting me giggling. So, thank you all so much for being here. Thank you, Bob and Noel. Thank you, Ben and Omashar. We're so grateful for you bringing forth this music to celebrate.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. Omashar, brother, thank you.
Thank you so much. And it's funny, in 2012, I was fathering, I had a 5-year young daughter and a 13-year young son, and I was looking after them at that time. So I'm going to go into a song called The True Ones. And we're all the true ones. Something that Adil said earlier is that we're part of something that is growing within us. And we can't stop it. There's no down, no return. And most of us cannot even share it with our immediate family. It's one of those weird things. I could not find words to share the transformation that's happened within me with pretty much anybody except those of us on the call here. So I'm just going to click onto my pro mic. There we go.
I think we just lost you. Oh, wait.
No, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good. I have two things going. The true ones. We are the true ones. Breathing free again. I love the air we breathe. And as we fly again, I love the sacred skies. We are whole again. I love the way we've changed. With open hearts again. I love the love we are. We are rising, there's no disguising the truth of who we are. Connected again, now we are the stars. As we walk again, we know the sacred earth. And as we see again, to ourselves we give birth. And as we feel again, our boundaries dissolve. Free to love again, right from the heart of one. Rising, there's no disguising the truth of who we are. With our hearts connected again, now we are the stars. And now that we are home, and all is said and done, light can find its way through all the true ones. Broken hearts resolve into the song of life. The song of life will now be heard by all.
That's always a fun one to sing. This next song is called This Beautiful Garden. And it was a song that came to me completely whole. It was a dream. I woke up one morning. I had this song in my heart. Within 15 minutes, it was unfurled. And here it is. And yes, happy birthday, Barbara. Oh yeah, I seem to remember the time when we all were happy and my family, we all were together. My sisters and brothers, I often dream that we're gathered together. In this beautiful garden by a river with my favorite flowers and the trees there, I know them by name. So if you'd like a new life, here it is, here it is, here it is. If you'd like a true life, here it is, here it is, here it is. Born of the great sun, we all are beloved golden ones. Do you remember? You're part of the story. You are the glory. So if you'd like a new life, here it is, here it is, here it is. If you'd like a true life, here it is, here it is, here it is. good to see you dancing. Hey, how's the sound? Is it good enough?
Sounds fantastic.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you. I just am so filled with joy from our sharing with Ben and everybody that, what do you do but share it out. Oh, one other thing, Chief Phil was saying we're right in the center of the birth canal, and we have a few more birth contractions to happen, but I feel that so strongly. And however, knowing that I'm in the birth canal with all of us, that's amazing. It's brilliant. This song is called The Way Things Are, and this is a song that was given to me by the cetaceans of our oceans. See when you're alone, what do you feel when you are by yourself? How could it be that you are here? Isn't it strange the way things are? Look at the river flowing by. Look at the colors of a butterfly. How do you feel about your life? Isn't it strange the way things are? Like a dolphin in the ocean, I can hear you calling me. Come on in, you say, the water's fine. I have come to set you free. You have never been alone, my friend. I was just a thought away. And there's a deeper love that's holding you, and it's here to lead the way. La, 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 la. Whoa. And now that you see you're not alone, and there is no such thing as by yourself, and there is a hand that's lifting you into the presence of yourself. And life is a tale that never ends. There is a purpose to each heart that beats. You are the river flowing by. You are the colors of the butterfly. Like a dolphin in the ocean, I can hear you calling me. You say the water's fine. I have come to set you free. You have never been alone, my friend. I was just a thought away. 'Cause there's a deeper love that's holding you, and it's here to lead the way. La, la, la.
falls away, and there's a deeper love that's holding you, and it's here to lead the way.
It's a trip when you play these songs because I get transported into the center of them and I sometimes forget that I'm playing them. So I have my grounding stone somewhere, some iron ore hematite. Best grounding stone on the planet, I tell you. This is a fun little song that came to me, and these are all songs from the Divine Heart. They're all either my communication with the source of all creation as I perceive it, him, her, and vice versa. Many times I receive transmissions, and this is one of them when I was feeling kind of down, and the song just came along and said, just when. And just when you think that all is lost and the curtain looks to fall, what happens then? So, this is what happens then. Let's do that. Yay. On there, on there, on there. All is good. Dearly beloved. Ha, it's a Prince song. Just when you think that all is lost and the curtain looks to fall, perhaps it's just the song of hope that calls, and your trust in life exposed. No need to sit around and mope. Where there is love, there's always hope. Trust in your life and you will see that you reflect as me. Another day is here for you to live, and I'll walk it through with you. There is no doubt your heart is pure and true. So I came to remind you, no need to sit around and mope. Where there is love, there's always hope. Trust in your life and you will see that you reflect as me. I am in all that you will see. Have trust in your life and trust in me. Dust yourself down and I'll lift you up. I will fill your loving cup. Just when you thought that all was lost, I came to remind you, no need to sit around and mope. Where there is love, there's always hope. Trust in your life and you will see that you reflect as me. Well, I like that song. It was a good one. It lifted me up. You can put comments. I got the comment thing going down the side here. I've got so many tech things happening that I'm not too sure if I'm up or down. But here's a brand new song. I've played it a few times, of course, on Scott Katomas's The Awakening World, and it's called I Am You. But it's great. It's a lovely little song, and it kind of goes like this.
From different skies, and what is true is the love that shines right through your eyes. Yes, we are here and now, and it's time to leave the past behind. So take me by the hand, let us walk across this sacred land. And this is your bit. I am you, though we seem to come from different skies. And what is true is the love that shines right through your eyes. I'll sail away with you across the universe. We'll fly on eagle's wings, and you know we'll cry with gratitude. Remember, you're always divinely connected. Our spirits, our bodies are being resurrected. The love in your hearts will lift you up, and I'll come along and fill your cup. I am you, though we seem to come from different skies. And what is true is the light that shines right through your eyes. 1,000 sunny days describes the joy I feel. I'll walk 1,000,000 miles, 'cause you know we'll see the truth revealed. And we shall always remember, you're always fine connected. Our spirits, our bodies are being resurrected. The love in your hearts will lift you up, and I'll come along and fill your cup. Though we seem to come from different skies, what is true is the love that shines right through your eyes.
It's always fun playing a new song because your mind doesn't quite know where it's going. But hey, that's the story of my life. My heart knows where it's going. And this song that's going to be played now is called What More Can I Be Than What I Am? I remember going to an event somewhere, it was actually in India, and I traveled for what seemed like 10 million years to get there. And within 10 minutes of getting there, the organizer of the event said, "Come to a meeting." And I was so tired that I could not even imagine going to this meeting, but they forced me to come. Well, I guess I acquiesced. And I went back to my room and I was so annoyed. I thought, come on, what more can I be than what I am in this moment? And so out of that came this great song called What More Can I Be? And let's see. Okay, what more can I be? What more can I be than what I am? Though it's taken some time to clear these clouds from my eyes. So open your heart and dance along. I'm thinking it's time to stop that same old song. I've come alive, so hear me now. I am in love with the world around me, and I will hold her in my arms and lift her with my dreaming. La da da da. I lift her with my dreaming. La da da da. I lift her with my dreaming. La da da da. So don't try to hold me to what I was. I've traveled through time to see this day arise. The love that I am is here for you. So open the door and let the sun shine in. I've come alive, so hear me now. I am in love with the world around me, and I will hold her in my arms and lift her with my dreaming. La da da da. I lift her with my dreaming. La da da. I lift her with my dreaming. La da da da. Ba da 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 ba da da. Ba da 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 da. Ba da da da. So open the door and let the sun shine in. I've come alive, so hear me now. I am in love with the world around me, and I will hold her in my arms and lift her with my dreaming. La da da da. I lift her with my dreaming. I lift her with my dreaming. La da da da.
What more can I be than what I am?
Another new one. It's funny, when I play a slow song, it seems so slow, but it's because my mind is racing. So let's take a few deep breaths and unrace the mind, because that'll help me. Yes. Jeffrey, love to see you dancing, brother.
Turning to the face of those who need the light of truth to help them turn the other cheek and turn around. Lift each other up into the highest point of view so that together we can move to higher ground. Contemplating everything I knew, seems as though there's not much left that I would hold on to. Contemplating what is pure and true. Sun and moon and stars and light and earth and water too. We are rising, soaring, flying, living life so free. We are flowing, changing, growing, loving all we see. Glad to know we're coming home again. Open hearts and open minds and open doors and loving friends. Look at the one who's standing by you now. Destiny is in our hands, so leave the density behind. And we are rising, soaring, flying, living life so free. We are flowing, changing, growing, loving all we see. Turning to the face of those who need the light of truth to help them turn the other cheek and turn around. Lift each other up into the highest point of view so that together we can move to higher ground. Contemplating everything I knew, seems as though there's not much left that I would hold on to.
Seems as though there's not much left that I would hold on to. I tell you, in my life, as I'm awakening and as the light in my heart grows, all the things that I used to think that I loved and cherished seem to have paled into in comparison to what's coming. And so I'm a little antsy in this birth canal, but I'll stick it out because I have so many good friends and compadres and extended family coming along with me. Well, there's only one of us here, so with the one that we are. So this is called Another Dawn, this song. I like this song very much. It's about every day is a Groundhog Day, and every day you arise as an innocent child into the world. What a concept. What a concept. So we're going to go here. I'm going to go and let's go.
Another dawn, another day. Innocent child coming your way. I've been wondering about my life. Oh yeah. Wondering about my state of mind. But then I heard, who is it for? If not for yourself, how do you feel? And why do you cry, 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 cry? Shooby-doo-wop. The sun is warming up my mind. Ocean breeze blows me away. And yet still I've been wondering about my life. Oh yeah. Wondering who will take my place. But then I heard, who is it for? If not for yourself, how do you feel? And why do you cry, 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 cry? Who is it for? If not for yourself, how do you feel? And why do you cry, 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 cry? Who is it for? If not for yourself, how do you feel? So come on, let's fly. Come on, let's fly. Let's fly. Woof. Yay. How are we doing for time, guys? Are we hanging in there? I got another couple. Ha, Jennifer. Where do we go? All right. I know what I'm going to do. Before we go quiet again, let's do another ragey song. This one's about our ancestors, and it's about, do they disappear into the blue? Maybe we're our ancestors, and maybe the ancestors are reaching their hand back out of the blue into our hearts and minds so that we can be guided today by their wisdom. So out of the blue, here we come. It's I wrote it as a very quiet, gentle song, but I spiffed it up into my brand, which is metapop, metaphysical pop music. I used to play in pop bands in New Zealand back in the day, and I realized that it wasn't for me anymore. I don't want to write about things like that anymore. So anyway, I gave it up, and I wrote everything from there, all that originates in my heart, and nothing else. All right, this one maybe. I got lots of buttons to press. Whatever happened to the ones that came before? Did they just vanish into the blue? Maybe they're living the dream we know to be true, and reaching their hands back out of the blue. My heart is so ready to embrace all that's you. I feel the love calling for me to break on through. With peace on my mind, I know that I'm coming to a new way of life that feels so true. Okay, break down, Jennifer, here we go. There's nothing here that holds me back from you. The clouds of my life have blown away. My lightness of being lifts me every day. I find myself feeling not so blue. My heart is so ready to embrace all that's new. I feel the love calling for me to break on through. With peace on my mind, I know that I'm coming to a new way of life that feels so true. One needs a sound technician at this time of night. It's, where am I? I'm in Colorado, and it's 20 to 9. I'll do 2 more songs. Is that good? Yes? Omashar.bandcamp.com. So this is a song called Still We Wonder Why. It's a gentle song. And then I'll play my latest brand new song, and then we'll close for the night. And the latest brand new song was actually written for the Global Peace Tribe, Scott Thomas's The Awakening World, globalpeacetribe.com. Remember that. You won't be able to forget it. Brighter than the sun. Here Here where life is one, all the past falls like rain into the soil of future dreams. Love, the footprint in the sand. Eyes shining like the stars, and the way is suddenly so clear, and we know what has to be done. Still, we wonder why flowers keep on blooming, the stardust in our eyes lifts us all to a higher plane, a deeper truth, our rightful place, and still we wonder why. Life, a promise to fulfill. Now a vision is revealed, and the blessing of who we really are can be felt throughout our world, and still we wonder why flowers keep on blooming, the stardust in our eyes lifts us all to a higher plane, a deeper truth, our rightful place, and still we wonder why. Light brighter than the sun, here where life is one. Life, a promise to fulfill. Now a vision is revealed, and still we wonder why. Marco, I loved your feeling you through the screen here. I've got a little gallery view down the side here, and I can thank you. You were sign reading for me, signing for me. All right, this is the last song of the night, the last song ever until the next moment. And this, of course, is named after the Global Peace Tribe show, The Awakening World, and it's called The Awakening World. What a concept. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for coming for the ride. I hope the rest of your evening is awesome, or wherever it is on this planet that we get to meet sometime in the future, because there's a future and it's very, very bright. I can promise you that. I cannot tell you how or why, but we are achieving it within ourselves. So there we are. awakening world is rising through our hearts, through our lives, as we take the next steps together, walking tall, no disguise. Here we go again, loving all we see, lift each other up, let each other be, healing all the past, healing you and me, loving all that's gone, loving what's to be. The awakening world is rising through our hearts, through our lives, as we take the next steps together, walking tall, no disguise. The awakening world, the awakening world, the awakening world, the awakening world. Nothing left to say, nothing left to do. Let your spirit shine, let your spirit show. Time is what we have, and time to think anew. Let inspiration flow, let inspiration through. The awakening world is rising through our lives, through our hearts, as we take the next steps together, walking tall, no disguise. The awakening world, the awakening world, the awakening world, the awakening world.
Woohoo! Thank you all so much for joining, and what a pleasure and a privilege to follow on from Ben Bowler and all of our extraordinary sharings that came. I know there was a gazillion more, but there it is. And thank you, Ben. I can see you there somewhere. I'm going to go back onto gallery view. I don't know if you wanted to say anything in completion, but there is no completion because, you know, every moment is a new beginning. And right. And thank you, Becky, for being behind me there, because I couldn't reach out to let people into the room. I have been known to be ambidextrous, but there it is. So happy solstice. Have a beautiful evening, morning, evening, day, night, whatever it is, wherever you are. Ben, over to you, brother.
Oh, beautiful, Brother Omashar. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing your gifts and your gorgeous music with all of us. And was great to see people dancing and singing along and enjoying, quite a wide collection of songs that you had there. Becky, wasn't that beautiful? And what a perfect
really
way to
was.
celebrate and to acknowledge this moment. Thank you, brother.
The solstice, so beautiful.
So
thank you so much, Omashar. Thank you.
You are so welcome. Good night, everybody. Somebody can press the red button